Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan, and as promised, today I am going to share with you my most up-to-date current Game Week 1 draft. I said I'm going to do this probably once a week right up until deadline, just so you can see the progression of my thoughts, of my thought process of how we can gradually, hopefully, get towards the perfect team as we approach that Game Week 1 deadline. This is where I'm at right now. There's been a few changes, slightly more changes than I thought I would do. I mean, a lot of the players that I've got in my draft today have kind of been in and out of my draft anyway, but there are some really big changes, some really interesting changes, and yeah, I'm just going to explain it all, lay it all out on you today, and hopefully you guys are going to really like this team because I really like it. There's probably going to be a few changes still, but I really like what I'm going with now. That's for sure. But anyway, guys, if you do enjoy this video, please do give a like on the video. It massively helps out the channel. I really do appreciate it. And of course, guys, subscribe if you're new around here, because I know for a fact that most of you watching this video are not subscribed. And if you want FPL content in your faces every single day, then this is the place to be. Hit that subscribe button indeed. But without further ado, guys, I think we have a look at this team. So, all of the money has been spent. We're going to start off in goal and we're going to work our way down all the way to the forwards and then finally the bench, and then we'll do captains as well. We'll start off in goal with Sanchez. Okay, Sanchez is still in goal. This has been an unchanged thing. I think this is just a safe way to go. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about which kind of Brighton player I want to go for. Could I go for Dunk, who's a little bit more expensive? I can't go for Lamptey anymore because he's going to miss the start of the season. Don't go for someone like Veltman, who's a little bit differential, but is he going to play long term in the team? I'm not 100% sure. We could just go for Sanchez. What I'm really thinking is I want a defender from this Brighton team. Brighton's sort of the third, fourth best defence on underlying stats in the league last year, so we kind of do want that Brighton defensive presence, especially when you look at this run of fixtures. Burnley, Watford, Everton, Brentford. None of these teams particularly well known for scoring a lot of goals, particularly in the Premier League, which Brentford obviously haven't done before. So there is going to be some clean sheets here, that's for sure, along a long stretch of games, sort of 8-9 game weeks for Brighton. It's a really nice set and forget goalkeeper for the start of the season, and then maybe if a good goalkeeper emerges, we can start thinking about bringing them in on a wild card, go a little bit crazier with the goalkeeper a little bit later. But this is a safe pick. I think it's the right pick. So we'll move on to the defence. We've still got Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's never left a single one of my drafts. He's been in every single team I've made. So he's not going anywhere just because of Liverpool's fantastic run of fixtures at the start of the season, because of the creativity that Trent Alexander offers, the set pieces as well. There's so much to love. Let's not dwell on it too much. Let's move on to Luke Shaw, who I found out now that it's kind of a bit of a yo-yo situation. Is Luke Shaw going to be fit for Game Week 1? Is he not going to be fit for Game Week 1? As news currently stands, he is going to be fit for Game Week 1, which means he's come into my team. He's come back into my team for Andy Robertson. So this is probably going to be a yo-yo all the way till the final deadline. If Shaw's going to be playing, he's going to be in my team. If Shaw can't play that for Game Week 1 fixture, then it's going to be Robertson. That's how it's going to work, to be fair. But we have got Shaw back for now. I really like his creativity. I like that he's going to be playing pretty much every single game at left-back for Manchester United. I think I like the look of the Manchester United defence. Now they've brought in Varane. Really hoping they bring in a central defensive midfielder as well. That will just complete the defence. It would look so good, wouldn't it? So, loads to love there. And we're finishing off the defence with a new one. It's Ben White. Ben White at Arsenal. So I've got a few different players in this team, and as such, one of the players in particular, who we'll find out a little bit in a minute, is a little bit risky. And as such, I previously had Ait-Nouri in my team, who is quite explosive, but also quite risky. So I kind of wanted to go for a player who's a little bit safer, who will rotate really well with my other 4.5 million defender on the bench. That's kind of what I wanted to do. Go for a slightly more safer player here. And Ben White, I think, is going to be fantastic. He was fantastic in that Brighton defence that did so well last season, but also Arsenal's defence last season, absolutely incredible. The third least goals conceded in the Premier League last season, only beaten by Chelsea and Man City. So if we're looking for the third best defence, it's Arsenal. If we're looking for a really cheap option, I mean, if you look at the Chelsea and the Man City defenders, who are the top two defences, these players are 5.5 million just to get in on a baseline defender. Ben White you can get for 4.5 million, so you can get an amazing player in an amazing defence for $1 million less by going for Ben White. It seems like a no-brainer. There'll be plenty of clean sheets, especially when you kind of look at some of these games. Brentford, Norwich there as well. Chelsea and Man City, he will be rotated out, Ben White. I will rotate him with my bench centre-back, or my bench defender, I guess. But Chelsea as well could genuinely be a clean sheet. Man City, it's possible. it's possible because that's kind of the team that Arsenal are. They only conceded sort of 4 goals in the last 8 games last season, perhaps even less than that over a slightly longer period of time. So really, really impressive stuff from Arsenal. So I am going to go in on their defence. I'm going to give them the confidence, the vote of confidence, if you like. So we'll go into midfield with Salah, another player who has never left any one of my drafts. He has got this amazing run of fixtures. He had another great season last year for like the 4th time in a row. When is he ever going to slow down? It seems like never. So he's just going to keep going and going and going. He's a really safe pick. He's a really sensible pick. You can just captain him pretty much every single game week for the first 6 game weeks. I think he covers 4 captain slots very, very comfortably over the first 6 game weeks. So it's only sort of game week 3 and 4 you want to be looking for another captain option. And a lot of people for game week 3 and 4, they are going to be going for Bruno Fernandes for that captain slot. But as you well know, guys, I am trying desperately to find a reason not to put Bruno in my team. You probably know this by now. I just feel like for 12 million, you could potentially do better. Before I had a 12 million player, which was either going to be Bruno or KDB, and I was going to have Harvey Barnes to pair up. But I thought, is that combination going to score more points, or can I maybe go for some more almost premium midfielders? 2 almost premium midfielders, will they outscore? And my answer is yes, because my next midfielder is Heung-min Son. Yeah, Heung-min Son. You're not seeing him in too many drafts, are you? But I spoke about this on Twitter. Son was the one player who I'm desperately trying to fit into my team. But, I was always making excuses like, oh, can I really give up this player? Can I really give up that player? But it kind of came to a point where I kind of just said, if I'm trying so hard to put Son in, maybe Son should actually be one of the first names on my team sheet. He's got a fabulous record against Man City. He's got a fabulous record when playing without Kane. He's playing as a striker in pre-season. He's likely to start this season playing as a forward, as a striker, central striker, which he has such a good record from. He's got having a really good pre-season as well. He's got these 2 fixtures in game week 3 and 4, which I'm trying to cover for captaincy, Watford and Crystal Palace. He is a great captaincy option in those games. He's a great captaincy option in general. Last season, he had the 4th highest points of any player in FPL. So he's kind of almost on the level of your Salahs, of your Brunos, as he Kane's anyway. He's possibly going to have an even better season this season when he's the focal point, when he is the key to Spurs, assuming that Kane is leaving. Kane's certainly not starting in the first game. So there is so much to love about Son. There really is. And I could go on as well. I'm not going to bore you guys. But there is so much to love about Son. So as far as I'm concerned, if I'm so desperate to have him in my team, just put him in and build everything around that. As long as I've got Salah, as long as I've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, who are my 2 mainstays, I guess, Son goes on the team sheet next. If I want him that much, he's got to go on the team sheet. So that's why he's there. And we're going to pair him up with Mahrez. And this is what I'm saying. Do I prefer Son and Mahrez, or do I prefer Bruno and Harvey Barnes or Rafinha or someone like that? Who do I prefer? Well, genuinely, I prefer Son and Mahrez. We've got Mahrez, who's got this fabulous fixture against Norwich in game week 2, where a lot of people are not going to be going in on Man City players. It could be, if you take a little bit of a risk, that could be the way you jump ahead of the pack immediately in the very short term. Mahrez is not very highly owned. We know how explosive he can be, how many points he can score in individual game weeks. He can randomly pop up with a 20-point game week. Who's to say that's not going to happen against a team like Norwich at home? What a fixture. So really, really nice there. I could even consider captaining him, although Salah is probably the more sensible option. I do have that option to captain Man City, and I feel like if Mahrez is going to start regularly, and he should really as like the primary right winger in that team, there's not really anyone who I'd be too confident starting ahead of him in right winger, particularly as maybe a few players are coming back to the team a little bit slowly, and there's some doubts around some players. I think Mahrez is going to play, and if he doesn't play, we've spoken about this before, when Mahrez when he doesn't start, when he goes on the bench, more often than not, he stays on the bench. So he's not going to come on for those 1-pointers. Instead, you can have your first bench option come on. And as long as you've got something okay on your bench, which I feel like I do, my bench is okay. I would be comfortable with my bench players coming onto the pitch. As long as I have that in my back pocket, then it's in a way worth taking the risk on Mahrez in a way. And we're going to complete the team with Jarrod Bowen. And I'm going to put Bowen on there. I'll speak very briefly about him. So Bowen is playing incredibly in pre-season. We know that he's going to start. He's going to be the primary right winger for West Ham. He's just becoming a fantastic player. I think he's going to have an insane season. We know what he's done before in the Championship. Last season, he kind of got 15 goal contributions. He's a very good player, and he plays every single game for West Ham as well. And I think this is going to be a seriously good season for him. And this opening run of fixtures, Newcastle, Leicester, Crystal Palace, Southampton, mouth-watering. It really is. I think he's going to be so explosive in this first run of fixtures. I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the highest scoring players over the first 3, 4, 5 fixtures. I really wouldn't be surprised by that. And I can kind of just keep him in my team. If he performs well as I expect him to do, I can keep him in my team because West Ham's good fixtures kind of run a little bit. But I'm going to put on Bamford on the pitch now as well, because I want to give a little bit of an explanation to this. Because a lot of people are going for the combination of Rafinha and Antonio, which I kind of understand. But what about this combination instead? Bowen and Bamford. So, Bamford, slightly similar price to Antonio. Bowen, exactly the same price as Rafinha. When we're looking at these two players, who do we think? Which combo do you think is going to score more points? And this is the combo I genuinely prefer. We've got the fact that Antonio is a little bit rotation risk if he is playing too many games in a row. Obviously, West Ham have European football as well. So, is Antonio, knowing his injury record, knowing that he does need a little bit of a rest now and again, is he going to be able to handle all the games that West Ham have? Bowen, on the other hand, is going to be able to handle them. And not only handle them, is if Antonio is absent for whatever reason in the team, Bowen comes in and he plays striker. So he's guaranteed to play at right wing, but if Antonio's not on the pitch, he plays as a striker. So this could be really good. There's also the fact if West Ham buy another striker, then that's going to give Antonio even less minutes. I looked at the stats in a video a couple of days ago. We kind of saw that Antonio was actually kind of disappointing statistically last season when you compared him to a lot of the other forwards. Bamford actually stood out as one of the better picks, as well. So if we're going for a combination of one Leeds attacker and one West Ham attacker, I prefer this combo. It's 0.5 more expensive, but I do prefer this combo. And Bamford, I do have confidence. The amount of opportunities he gets to score, the amount of shooting chances he had, I do have a little bit of confidence that he's going to be able to do the business against Manchester United, against Everton, against Burnley, against Liverpool. It's all possible. You can easily see him getting 2 goals and an assist over the course of that run of fixtures. And maybe for 8 million, you want a little bit more. I'm not sure. I kind of understand that. But I can always downgrade him to someone else. I can always, change my mind. I can go for Calvert-Lewin instead. I could bring in Antonio and have Antonio as well. So there's plenty of options here. We've got Jimenez, potentially, who I would probably be having a good look at towards game week 4. So there's so many options. There's so many options here. But Bamford is probably the least confident player I have on my team right now. But like I said, I do prefer the combination of Bowen and Bamford than I do to Antonio and Rafinha. But maybe Bamford could switch to someone else, Iheanacho, Cavani, DCL. Not sure. That's probably where the next change will be. When we revisit the team next week, if I had to bet of which player is most likely to change, it would be Bamford. But we'll move on anyway to Watkins, who has been another mainstay, to be fair. He's been in every single team I've made as well, for good reason. Just a very safe player, nice, high floor, if you like. So he's always going to be playing 90 minutes. He's always going to have those opportunities to get assists. He's quite a creative forward in many ways. And if he can start getting some bonus points, then he's going to be even better. He's got this creativity of Buendia coming in now, which is going to look so good. It's already looking good in friendly. So that's going to be a deadly combination, Watkins and Buendia. I really kind of feel like that. So let's see what that happens there. And then finally, we've got Callum Wilson, the guy who I've been pretty much hyping up for the last few days, because I just think he's fantastic. Looking at the stats, I think he's appeared in, including this one, my last 3 videos in a row now, because just go watch the video on the best mid-price forwards. Go find my video on forwards, and you will see Wilson is involved in sort of 60% of Newcastle goals. If Newcastle are scoring, Wilson's pretty much guaranteed to be involved in these goals, which is insane. He has the highest points per game than any other of the mid-price forwards. He scores for fun when he's fit. When he's fit is the key point. But when he is fit right now, which means it's going to be good to go on him. Whenever he's fit, he's performed. Other than that one season at Bournemouth, but we won't talk about that. But he's done so well for Newcastle. And whenever you watch him play, he's clearly the best player for Newcastle by a long way. He looks fantastic every game. He scores so well. He's so clinical. He's just... I've gone crazy over him. I really have. I've fallen in love with him in many ways. And in many ways, if you're going to go for a slightly riskier, slightly injury-prone forward, who are you going to go for? Are you going to go for Antonio or Wilson? Well, Wilson stands out statistically, and I think Wilson also looks the better player on the football pitch. He passes the eye test, and Wilson's more likely to get bonus points because no one else at Newcastle can score goals, whereas at West Ham, you've got quite a few different goal scorers. You've got Bowen, you've got Soucek, you've got Benrahma, you've got potentially Fornals giving him a few goals. You've got all kinds of players who can score you goals, whereas Newcastle it's the Wilson show. So if Wilson scores, he gets all the bonus points as well. Whereas West Ham, you can kind of see, Antonio scoring one, Bowen scoring another, Soucek scoring another in a 3-0 victory, for example. And the bonus points, it might be a little bit more spread out, particularly if there's some assists involved as well. So yeah, Wilson's the man, that's for sure. And I really like him. So yeah, let's move on to my bench, which hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed on my bench is the order. So I've got Foster first, I've got Brownhill next, I've got Ayling third, who Ayling's going to be rotating with White. If you look at the fixtures side by side, Ayling's fixtures and White's fixtures, they kind of rotate really nicely. So when White has a difficult game, Ayling has an easy game, and vice versa. You can see White here has Chelsea and Man City in game week 2 and 3. Ayling has some slightly more favourable fixtures, Everton and Burnley in game week 2 and 3. So yeah, just do a switcheroo over those games, and then after that we can just keep rotating them for forever. Maybe not forever, but you know what I mean. Ayling would probably be preferred if both of them have good fixtures, to be honest, or if both of them have bad fixtures, just because I think Ayling will offer a little bit more creativity, maybe a little bit more attacking threat, if you like. But yeah, Brownhill's going to go first on the bench this week, just because I think Ayling is looking at a maximum of 2 points in this game against Manchester United. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a 1-pointer. Brownhill, on the other hand, he's going to be sort of base level of 2 points. You can easily see him getting 3 points if Burnley were to keep a clean sheet, if Brighton were unable to score for whatever reason. You can see that Brownhill might easily get 3 points. So I do think, although we're talking about individual point, like very, very slim margins here, it is going to be about slim margins at the start of the season particularly. So I do think that Brownhill's got a slightly higher chance of scoring an okay point score haul total in game week 1. So that's why Brownhill is my first on the bench. But that's pretty much it, guys, for my team. Quickly on captains, let's give the captain's armband to Salah, as we do every time we do this video. I'm sure you guys are bored of me captaining Salah in these videos by now, but there we are. But for vice captain, we can be a bit more interesting because we've got a few different players now. I'm going to probably stick it on Mahrez just because he's the second best player on the pitch, but the safe vice captain will probably be Watkins, or maybe Wilson if I'm feeling extra spicy, But yeah, there you go. That's the team, guys. What do you think about that? I think this is probably the best Bruno-less team I have made so far. Obviously, this could easily switch if you don't like the look of this. And honestly, I'm not 100% sure on this myself. I could just switch back again, Son and Mahrez, back to Bruno and a 6.57 million player. I could do that very easily. In fact, I could do a 6.5 million player perhaps, and maybe even upgrade Bamford to Cavani or something like that. But although arguably that would be going in on Manchester United a little bit too much. But yeah, like I say, there are options here. There are options here. But this is just, I think, a lot of people have Bruno in their team. I want to show you some teams without Bruno because I feel like all of the other FPL YouTubers, they've all got Bruno in their team. I kind of do want to show you a little bit of variety, and that you don't have to have him if you don't want to have him. I'm not really keen on having him, but I'm scared of not having him in a way. So am I going to bottle it by the deadline and put Bruno in? Quite possibly. But I feel like Son and Mahrez are going to more than account for Bruno's points. When you look at the quality of these two players and the explosiveness of these two players, they really are fabulous, fabulous football players. And I feel quite privileged that I'm able to put both of them in my team, to be honest, because it's really nice to have those big, big players, isn't it? Especially if you can get an extra big player in, which you can do by removing Bruno. So there you go, guys. That is the team. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy what you saw today, please do leave a like. It really helps out the channel. And of course, guys, like I said, I know a lot of you guys aren't subscribed. Come on, join the crew, become a mates. And yeah, plenty of FPL content non-stop on your screens. Now, if you want to join my mini league, there is a link in the description. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, both of my @s are @FPLmates, all one word, or you can find links in the description again. And aside from that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. See you later, mates. Bye-bye.